What's good, y'all? Happy Thursday. Welcome back to Straight Betting. Another really solid day yesterday, right? Only had 2 plays, went 2-0, and that's now 7-0 over the last 3 days, which is great. That's the whole point of making bets, right? To win, so we'll take it. Anyways, I got 3 picks for today. Love all of them. 2 of them in the Wolves game, of course. You know, I know my Wolves, or at least I like to think I know my Wolves. Before the recap, so first play was Jaylen Brown over 28.5 PRA. Look, I was wrong about the minute restriction, right? He only had 13 minutes in the first half. The game ended up being a blowout in the wrong direction for Boston, which is very strange, right? At home against the Heat. I guess Celtics do kind of have those home struggles, but yeah, Jaylen Brown, I believe, finished with, I could be wrong. I think he was around like 36 or 38 PRA. Like I said, the line was 28.5. I will say I was right about the Heat really locking in on Tatum and trying to take him away. And, you know, Miami did a really good job at that. They're always pretty good at taking away the best option. So there's that for moving forward. But was definitely wrong about the minutes, right? I saw something on Twitter about Jaylen that he's trying to get to the 65 game threshold because he wants to make like all NBA or some shit. So he's playing hurt and he just, you know, he's playing limited minutes but wants to get the games in, even though the dude's already on like a fucking super max. So I don't really know why he's trying to make it, maybe for pride or something, but yeah, keep that in mind moving forward at least. Second play, James Harden over 7.5 assists. Guys, do not give me credit for that. I mean, I think a toddler could have seen that weak-ass overnight line and seen how bad of a line it was and, you know, bet it and won money. But I will say Harden, you know, he had 10 assists. He had 0 in the first quarter, which I was like panicking a little bit. Not panicking, but I was like, what the hell is going on? So if you guys did play the 8.5, which I'm pretty sure it was 8.5, by the time it was uploaded, that one as well, maybe like you played half unit on it, so one there. But yeah, like I said, guys, do not give me credit for the Harden one. I don't like, you know, giving out plays like that, but the circumstances of the night before led me to have to make the video at that time. So okay, guys, first official play, I'm going with Naz Reid over 11.5 points. Best current price in market is -120. Looks like there's some -120s, -125s out there, -129, -130. I like this up to like -135. I think that this is a pretty mispriced line. So obviously, guys, my first thought here, honestly, was that, you know, the Wolves, I know they're not on back-to-back, but I do think that the bigs are going to be a little bit fatigued, right? Honestly, the whole team might be a little bit fatigued, at least like the guys who played a lot because of that double overtime game in Denver. You know, that's just a taxing game. They get 1 day of rest, but travel and stuff. So, you know, I do kind of like that Naz has fresh legs here. But anyways, if you look at the filter, look, I'm just making the whole Wolves team healthy, like the top 8 in the rotation. So when that's the case, guys, Naz Reid, straight up, he's over in 26 out of 45 games. Next up, I wanted to check the minutes, right? Because Naz Reid is clearly, like, he's in a more prominent role than he was to start the year, even though he was the reigning 6th man of the year. I mean, Randall was playing massive minutes, so was Rudy. But, you know, Randall, Rudy went out, and Naz played great. So, you know, he has a little bit more prominent role. And, you know, since Rudy and Randall came back, excluding the suspension game, obviously, he's averaged 27.5 minutes. So I do think that a good minute projection for him here is 27 minutes. Okay, guys, so like I said, 27-minute projection. The filter I'm using here is Wolves at full strength and then 24 to 30 minutes. So if you look at this stuff, man, 17 out of 25 hit rate, averaging 14.4 points. That's all really great stuff. And then straight up, per 27 minutes in games with the Wolves being healthy, Naz is at 14.1 points per 27 minutes. For the matchup, guys, it's obviously a great matchup. We know how the Nets defend. They blitz the hell out of the pick and roll. They really focus in on #1 options. They don't allow pull-ups. So as we can see here, Nets are 25th in spot-up points per game. That's 6th most. That's 30% of Naz Reid's points. They also have been really funneling stuff to the rim. I mean, last 10 games, frequency allowed, 3rd highest. And guys, Naz Reid, like, he's either catching and shooting or taking it to the cup off the bounce, maybe cutting to the rim. So he's not really scoring in the mid-range area. It's all catch and shoot or at the rim stuff. And another thing, guys, is that Day'Ron Sharpe, he is out. So the second unit, obviously Naz Reid comes off the bench. A lot of Naz Reid's minutes should be going up against the Drew Timme anchored, quote-unquote anchored defense. So there's going to be like 0 rim protection in that unit as well. So Naz will be able to slash against that. So yeah, guys, honestly, just lots to like about Naz here. I'd probably have this line at 13.5. Before I give up this next play though, guys, I just want to quick shout out Props Madness. I'm not going to lie, y'all. Yesterday, I did a stream without Props Madness and I was literally going through withdrawals. Like, it was ridiculous. But this tool is just everything you need in betting NBA, betting WNBA. WNBA is coming up, betting the playoffs, all that stuff. And it's just an absolute must-have. And obviously, I show it off, in the videos. And if you guys are intrigued by it, I do have a code. It is SB25. It gets you 25% off. Make sure to use it. So yeah, guys, parlaying off the Nas Reed pick, staying in the same game, pretty much using the same filters, to be honest. But I'm taking Anthony Edwards under 37.5 PRA. Best current price on that is -115 at Bet365. But yeah, as you guys can see here, he's averaging 35.7 minutes and 35.3 PRA, so slightly under a PRA per minute. Obviously, overall hit rate, he is under in 37 point, or the exact opposite of that. What is that? 63.2% of games. Don't quote my math. Maybe it's 62.2. But yeah, guys, getting into the matchup. Obviously, guys, Nets fewest points per game to the pick and roll handler. That is 28% of Anthony Edwards' points. Handoffs, off-ball screens, stuff like that, which Ant does a little bit of. Fewest points per game there as well. Isolation, 10th fewest points per game there. I mean, we could go over to opponent shooting. This is on less than 10 feet, but let's go to pull-ups. So obviously pull-ups and pick and roll handler stuff is very correlated. Over the last 10 games, the Nets are allowing the lowest pull-up frequency. And Anthony Edwards is just like, pull-ups are such a big part of his game, obviously. And the Nets really try to take those away by being aggressive in pick and roll actions. On top of that, though, guys, like I said, he is averaging 35.7 minutes in this sample. There's a 13-point spread on this one. Like I said, Ant played a shit ton in that Denver game on a couple days ago. So, like I said, I kind of think, if everything's ideal, I think they'd look to, have Ant play a little bit less than that average. But I did project him for 35 minutes, and per 35 minutes with everyone healthy, Ant is averaging 34.6 PRA, and on top of that, like I said, very tough matchup. So I'd probably make this line like 33.5, and we're getting a 37.5. I think there's pretty good outs here. I will say, guys, Ant's kind of a guy where that step back three's on. There's no capping Ant when his step back three's on. Same with like James Harden and just guys, Luka, guys who can get to their step backs and are hitting, or if they're super on that day, they can go off and go over against pretty much any scheme. So, but yeah, just like looking at the matchup, it is a pretty brutal matchup, and the line does seem a couple points too high to begin with in like a neutral matchup. But like I said, I think that this is a pretty below average matchup as well. Before I give out the third play, I just want to give a quick reminder to make sure, if you guys do find this content valuable or enjoy it, or you just fuck with me in general, I guess, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, share with a friend, and just help spread the word. Third and final play of the day, guys. I'm going with Justin Edwards of the Philadelphia 76ers, over 18.5 PRA. Like I said, best current price, -115, 365. And I would play this down to like -130, which is available at pretty much every book. So the filter that I'm using here, guys, is obviously we don't want Maxey, Embiid, Paul George, Kelly Oubre in there, because that's just not relevant. But we do want Quentin Grimes in there, because Quentin Grimes, has very high usage and plays a lot of minutes. So if we look at this graph, he had 8 PRA against the Hawks in only 20 minutes, and then another 21-minute game. But since then, 40 minutes, that went to overtime, so it's probably 35 minutes, let's be real. 30 minutes, 38 minutes, 39 minutes, 36 minutes, and then 35 minutes, and finally 31 minutes. So Edwards is clearly trending in a direction of like the higher minute games, right? So I'm just going to take away those two games, and as you can see, he's been averaging 35.6 minutes. Obviously, one of those was an overtime game. But yeah, 31 minutes the last game. I'd probably have him for 33 minutes here. And as you can see down here, guys, in this sample size of games, he's averaging 32.2 minutes. When you bump it up to 33, which like I said, I think you can do that. But per 33 minutes in these games, he is averaging 21.7 PRA. Obviously, guys, 18.5 line. And if you just want to look at the hit rate of like these games, right, with like the projected minutes and stuff, it's looking pretty good, right? 23 plus and 6 out of 7. One miss against the Knicks, guys. Edwards is mainly a catch and shoot guy, and the Knicks have been really harsh against catch and shoot players, as you can see, allowing the third lowest frequency over the last 10 games. But getting into the matchup with the Bucks, right, it's kind of the exact opposite. They are allowing the 5th highest catch and shoot frequency. They have been like a really bad catch and shoot defense. Obviously, guys, on the year, his role is like a little bit different, but he is mainly a catch and shoot guy, as you can see by 40% of his points coming via spot up. And Bucks, I don't know what they were doing at the start of the year to limit catch and shoots, but that defense is not the same anymore. They're really poor against catch and shoots. Give up a ton of assists. They pretty much do everything well do everything poorly except for protect the rim. And as you guys can see here, this is a player shooting catch and shoot over the last 15 games. Justin Edwards is leading, well, tied with Lonnie Walker, I guess, but leading the 76ers in catch and shoot 3-pointers attempted per game. So yeah, guys, love Edwards here. Would probably make this line 22.5 for the PRA. 3 plays today, love them all. I mean, let's just keep this energy going, man. I mean, 7-0 over the last 3 days. We're cooking on YouTube. Let's continue to cook, guys.